Hello everyone, good evening, good evening, good evening. Can you see me clearly? I've already got so many comments. But sir, can't do anything. YouTube session is not good, sir, can't do anything. It's still decision has been taken. Yes, dear. For promotion purpose, we have to take some YouTube session as well, so that more students can come to know about Unacademy. What are the benefits of joining Unacademy? Good evening, anyways, uh, to you all. Good evening. Today we'll look at revise the last chapter of business economics, that is business cycle, and then we'll move on to the business and commercial knowledge. All right, but before we start, an important announcement to be made. All right. So, Step Up with Yeshas is a new batch which we are going to start for for May 2022 attempt. The batch is going to start from 10th of November 2021. It will be an all comprehensive batch uh, in provided on Unacademy platform in collaboration with Yeshas Academy. What are the benefits? All right, these are the faculties who are going to take the class. Payur sir and Rajavardhan sir will be taking accounts, and Anil sir, Misha sir will be taking QA, logical reasoning, and statistics. Myself will be taking Shandar Ahmed. I will be taking economics and business and commercial knowledge. Nidhika ma'am will be taking law, and Pooja ma'am will be taking BCR, that is business correspondence. All right. So what are the benefits of joining an academy? There will be live interactive classes, recorded lectures will be available. You can watch it, to unlimited number of times. You'll get access to educator's note. Every fourth session will be a doubt solving session, and of course, you'll be provided study material which will be sourced from the ICI material, and practice mock tests will also be given. So now let's come to the package. What are the packages that are available to the students? But before the package, you have to apply. Before you take the package, you have to apply to the Unacademy platform, subscribe to the Unacademy platform. So for 24 months package, you have to pay 22,000. That boils down to 917 per month. For 12 months, you have to pay 16,000, which will come down to 1333 per month. And if you take for 6 months, then you have to pay a total of 12,000. It means for 6 months, you'll have videos available. And that boiled down to 2,000 rupees per month. Now CA Iconic program, it's a flagship program of Unacademy. It will have added benefits apart from all the benefit that you get in plus subscription, for which you have to pay for 24 months you have to pay 58,000, that is to 2417 per month, or for 12 months 35,000, which is 2917 per month, and for 6 months it will be 25,000, that is 4167 per month. What are the benefits? The benefits are one-to-one live personal coaching will be there, one-to-one doubt solving session will be there, your answer scripts will be evaluated. All right, printed books will be given. Industry expert will come on the platform and talk to you about various things about CA and the world of CA. There'll be Discord channel will be for the community, uh, you know for the students community who will interact over there. And the best part of uh, Iconic program is the structured mock test, which will be structured into 3 stages. Upon completion of 40% of the syllabus, you will have first tranche of mock test. Then upon completion of 80%, you will have another sessions of mock test, and upon 100% completion, there will be again mock test, for full length mock test. And each of these tests will be followed by detailed analysis of the question paper, and also personalized guidance and feedback for the test. So please, without wasting any time, please join Unacademy. So voice is stuck. Is it so? You people are not able to hear me? Is the voice is getting stuck? Hmm? Can you hear me? Now it's fine. All right. Just let me broaden the thing here so that I'll be able to see your chat. All right. So chapter 5, business cycle. All right. You see, every business, every economy goes through a cycle of up and down. All right. Nothing moves in a linear fashion, always up or always down. One fundamental fact you have to remember is that what goes up must come down, what comes down goes up again. So business cycle is nothing but the normal up and or typical up and down in the economic activities that happens in any country. All right. And why this is important? Because for the government or for the business, it gives you a direction or gives you an idea as to where the economy is going and what must be done. Because whether it's the government or the business, they have to always take a decision. Even the households have to take a decision as to how much they save, how much to consume. Because business cycle, it will not only affect production and consumption, it will affect savings and investment, it will affect money supply, it will affect government policies have to be changed, have to be molded, the business policies have to be changed, have to be molded in order to remain relevant in the economy. So everybody will have to adapt to the business cycle. Nobody can say that I cannot adopt, I'll do what I do, because in that case the business will go down the drain. So what are business cycle? Let's quickly revise, and remember I'll be sharing the quick revision note very soon with all my students. So business cycle are business cycle or trade cycle is the natural rise and fall in economic growth. Natural rise, it naturally happens. In a free market economy, it is not the government which is determining the business cycle. It is the market forces of demand and supply that will naturally, organically determine where the economy is going. Business cycle refers to the alternate expansion and contraction. Now, expansion and contraction, but the thing is, after expansion there will be contraction, but before contraction you reach the peak. It means when you're growing, you reach the maximum point of growth, and from there the decline will start. Likewise, during contraction, when the economy is falling down, you will reach the trough or the depression. That is nothing but a turning point, and again the re-expansion or recovery will start from that point. So peak and trough are known as the turning point. We'll see in the illustration as it comes. All right. Now, these economic fluctuations occur again and again, but not always at the regular interval. This is the point from where the questions are asked. It will not happen on regular interval. The interval may be different, because sometimes you will see the entire phases of business cycle, that is from growth to that is from expansion to peak to contraction and trough. The entire four stage will end in 10 years time, sometimes in 8 years time, sometimes in 7 years time, sometimes the expansion will last for 4 years, sometimes the expansion may last for 3.5 years. All right. But the thing is, there will be some pattern. It will not happen like, if suppose the business cycle, the entire phase lasts for 10 years, the next business cycle, the entire phase will last for 30 years. It's not like that. There will be some pattern, but yes, there will be no uniformity in the business cycle. There will be no uniformity in the time interval when it happens. All right. So not always have regular intervals. That is, what does it mean? Not they have any same length and duration. The duration of the business cycle may also not be the same. As I explained to you, that expansion may last for 4 years, sometimes 4.5 years, sometimes 3.5 years, and so on. Now this is one point from where the question they will ask you. Every economy goes through economic fluctuation. As I've told you, no economy can say that no, the business cycle do not happen in our economy. No, it doesn't. It cannot happen. It's not possible. Business cycle is used as a tool for analyzing the economy. Yes, you see, whenever the inflation increases, people are not able to buy goods and services, the living standard expenditure increases, people are facing difficulty, then the government is being criticized that you are not able to help the people, or during the downturn of the economic cycle. In fact, the downturn can be held. It means, if suppose the contraction is happening, when government, through government policies, you can the government can end the contraction period earlier than than what it would have continued through artificially, by indulging in market corrections. But that's why I've said that you have to manage the economy properly, otherwise business cycle will destroy you. Business cycle have huge implications upon society, Huge implications. Study of business cycle helps businesses in decision making. Why? If I tell you that in the past data from the past 50 years, generally we have a business cycle of 10 years, and in which case contraction lasts for around 2.5 years if it starts, and right now contraction has started. Now tell me, will you take the business decision to expand your business right now, come up with new investment when the economy is in a downturn? The answer is no. So study of the business cycle is very important for the businesses so that they can know when the investment have to be made, and when the businesses can take risk, and when the risk can be averted, when the businesses will prefer to sit down and just ride the bad cycle or bad phase in the business cycle. Sir, please share the PDF in the Telegram. I'll share everything, dear, don't worry. When I'll share the quick revision note, no, this is a part of the quick revision note. It will be shared with you. It will be a synopsis, all right? Don't worry. All right. Now, business cycle or trade cycle means the one and the same thing. Now, you see in this illustration, what is given here, this along the y-axis. Along the y-axis, you have real GDP. Real GDP, it means what is the real growth in the economy in terms of goods and services produced and consumed, everything. And this along the x-axis, you have the time period. Now you can see here there is an expansion is happening, economic expansion is happening. Now during economic expansion, what happens? If the economy is expanding, what happens? People's income will increase. When their income will increase, they will create more demand. Of course they will create more demand, if not for everything, then for some things. Alright, when demand will happen, then it will create pressure upon the businesses. It will create an opportunity for businesses rather to produce more. In order to produce more, they will provide labor employment. When more labor are getting employed, then employment opportunities will increase. Those labor who got a new employment, their income will increase. They will create even more demand. So it will create more production in some other sector of the economy, and employment will increase in that particular sector. There will be more money supply that will happen in the economy, because if your income is increasing, of course you have more money in your hand, so it means there is more money supply. More businesses will be forthcoming. Businesses, when they find out that the demand is slowly increasing, they will take more loan from the bank, to produce more. So the banks will be able to give loan to the borrowers for consumption, and to the producers for production. Bank will work as an intermediary that will promote both demand and supply. So money supply is increasing, more and more investment is happening, profit of the businesses are increasing. So all good and rosy picture that you can see here. All right, so that is during expansion is happening. But remember, if the demand increases too quickly, it will lead to a rise in inflation as well, because you see money supply can multiply very quickly, but the infrastructure in the economy to meet that demand cannot increase so quickly. Say for example, every year in India, thousands of people become CA, thousands of people become lawyers, thousands of people become doctors, financial analysts, and so on. Now their income will increase. When you will become CA, your income will increase. Right now you're living on the pocket money given by your parents, or if you're doing articleship, you're living on the stipend, which is 5, 6 or 10,000 maybe, but paid by the company. That is not enough. But when you become CA, you will receive lump sum amount of money every month, 2 lakh, 1.5 lakh rupees you will receive every month. Don't you think you will increase demand? You will want to have more mobile phones, you will want to have more pizzas, you will want to give more gifts to your girlfriends and boyfriends, or to your wives and husbands. If you are already, the moment you become CA, you get married, right? That is the next big thing that will come to you after you become CA. But what I'm trying to say is here, the demand is increasing. Likewise, same case with lawyers, engineers and doctors and everything. Now tell me, what money you are receiving, you are creating demand, but are you directly participating in the production of any tangible goods? You are demanding mobile phone, but are you directly helping in production of mobile phones? You are demanding more pizza, are you directly involved in production of more pizza? You demand more cars, more bikes you want to buy, are you directly producing? So it means demand is increasing, but you are not directly helping in the production of these particular tangible goods that you are demanding. So don't you think the demand may increase sharply, but the production may not increase as sharply as the demand. So production will increase to an extent, so the growth is happening. But if the demand rises very sharply, then don't you think rightward shift in the demand curve will lead to rise in the price? That is, inflation will happen. Why will you? When will you share? I will share what is the this particular week by Friday or Saturday. I'll be sharing, right, the quick revision notes. All right. So all in all, good things are happening. Then you will reach the peak. Now at the peak, the employment level is at the highest. The cost of living significantly increases. There will be very high rate of inflation. All right. In fact, there will be no unemployment. There will be zero unemployment or full employment that will happen in an ideal situation. Then from peak, what will happen? Contraction will start. You see, the economy started to come down, down, down. So exact opposite will happen what had happened in expansion. That the demand is going to fall down because income will fall down, because things have become very, very expensive. All right. Then businesses will have unsold stock. They will cut down production. When they cut down production, they will require less labor. So unemployment will increase or employment will decrease. It means the same thing. Increasing unemployment or decreasing employment, it means one and the same thing. So unemployment will increase. All right. Money supply will decrease. Businesses will find trouble. They'll be in troubled waters. And if contraction fall happens even more, then it will lead to recession. So remember, significant contraction will lead to recession. Keep that in mind. When contraction is not recession, but if contraction continues for very long and the economy falls down, the GDP growth rate falls down very significantly, then significant fall in the economic growth, it is known as contraction. So significant contraction is known as recession. And if recession becomes chronic, then it will lead to depression. So you see, that will be the trough part. And after trough part, then some measures, the economy will slowly start to rise up again, either with the help of the government. When government will induce some expenditure in the economy, government will try to bail out the economy, government will go for some stimulus package, and so again the re-expansion will happen. That is recovery of the economy. That is nothing but expansion again taking place. Now what you must know here is that this up and down, it is going to happen continuously. It will have to happen. But you see here that this is shown as the trend line. What is the trend? Trend is basically it shows a long term effect of business cycle. So maybe every economy is going through up and down, but every time the up happens at a higher level and down happens also at a higher level. You see here I can say, you see the trough is over here if I see the GDP, but here the trough, the GDP doesn't fall the way it had fallen before. Here if I see the trough is again higher. We say in stock market terminology is higher lows ho raha hai. Higher lows, the lows are getting high. So even when the economy is going through depression, then it is a better situation than what it was in the past. And if you see expansion, when you are having expansion, you are reaching peak. You see this peak, I can say at this peak the GDP growth rate was 7%. But if I see this peak, you see at this peak the growth rate is maybe 8%. And at this peak, you see the growth rate even increases, that is 9.5% or so. So that is a trend basically. That the trend says that in the long run the economy is actually growing. All right. So this is the trend, growth trend. If suppose the trend line, if I draw like this, then it will say that long run trend is negative, we say. But here long run trend is positive here. Okay. I hope this diagram is clear to you guys. let's move ahead. 4 phases of business cycle. Now what happens in every phase, from there the questions are asked a lot many times. Expansion also known as boom or upswing. Peak, or the called boom or upswing. Upswing hota hai expansion, but expansion is not basically boom, it is you're reaching towards boom. Peak is boom or prosperity. Contraction is known as downswing, and significant contraction will be known as recession. Is nothing but, as I've told you, significant contraction. After this comes depression. So trough and depression. So how it happens here? So expansion. Now under expansion, what is happening? Expansion is characterized by why? Increase in what? What increases during expansion? Very simple. Let's see. Does uh, national output is increasing. Obviously more output can only be produced if there are more labor, so employment will also increase. Aggregate demand will also increase, that will lead to increase in income. Capital and consumer expenditure will also increase, because if your income is increasing, don't you think you'll spend more to buy various goods? Sales obviously will increase, profits of the businesses will increase, rising stock prices, stock market will also see a good trend. If you see, you must have seen, no, whenever a company discloses its profit and it has a positive profit, quarterly profit or annual profit result, suddenly the stock prices start to rise most of the times. You must have seen, no? They come on CNBC and said this company has made this profit, and the moment market opened, there is a momentum ride that happens. 5%, 6%, 7% growth in the uh, you know 7% growth in the, just hold on, there is some problem here. 7%, 8% growth happens in the in the stock on that particular day. So this state continues till full employment of resources are reached, because you see, once you reach the full employment, it means there is all the people who could do the job or do work have been employed. If the demand increases beyond that point, do you think production can take place? If there are 1,000 people who are willing and able to work in an economy, and all those 1,000 people are already employed, and if the demand increases beyond that point, do you think production is a possibility then? Do you think? The answer is no. And production is at its maximum possible level. You see, maximum possible level, it means there cannot be any further increase in production when you reach the peak. All right, using the available product resources. You see that happens during peak. All right, on peak what happened? Full employment, maximum production limit, highest cost of living, because the thing is, if the demand is increasing so fast, the producers are not able to match the demand. They are trying hard to match the demand. Full employable resources are there. Don't you think this will lead to overheating of the economy and the price will rise very sharply? So the term peak refers to the top or the highest point of the business cycle. We call it summit. If you're climbing Mount Everest and you reach the peak, can you go more than the peak? No. If you want to go up higher than the peak, then you have to jump down without having a parachute. Then you will come down and go up higher, even heaven. Right? But when you reach the peak, there is only way, one thing is there, that you can come down. You cannot go up further. Summit bolte hain usko. In the later stages of expansion, inputs are, why does it happen? That inputs are difficult to find, as they are short of their demand, and therefore input price increases. Now remember, if the demand is increasing and producers are trying to meet the demand, so don't you think the producers will also create a demand for raw material? If suppose the demand for this pen is increasing and I'm producing this particular pen, now I want to produce more and more pen. Demand is rising faster. I'm trying to meet the demand. So don't you think price will increase? Moreover, why the price will increase? When I am creating more and I'm producing more and more of this pen, will I not demand more and more raw material? So don't you think those people who are selling the raw material, the suppliers of raw materials, it will be an opportunity for them to increase the price of their raw material. So will I be able to sell you at the same price this pen what I was selling it at before? No. So I will increase the price, and if this continues to go on, then price will reach the highest point. Inflation will be very high and cost of living will become very expensive. When the cost of living becomes very expensive, then people will say, no baba, it's very expensive, I cannot afford it. All right, clear? So output price also rises, so input price increases, output price also rises rapidly, leading to increased cost of living. Cost of living increases and greater strain on fixed earners. If your income is fixed, there will be problem. You see, those whose income is variable, they have active income and they have passive income as well, so they will not be affected more due to inflation. For example, you look at me, my active income and passive income is there, so even if the price of petrol increases 200 rupees, it doesn't matter to me, because I can compensate it by making more money from the stock market, from the forex market. All right, so active income is also there when I'm teaching, and passive income when I'm not teaching also I'm making money. So that will not, but remember, a person who is working in a government organization who don't have other skills, which is the case for majority of the population, they are depending on one job. They're depending on one job. Is it possible for them to meet to spend 100 or 150 rupees on petrol, to spend 2 times the money on grocery, to buy pulses, cereals, rice at a 30% 40% higher price? The answer is no. All right, the answer is no. So that's why the people will complain that what the hell government is doing inflation. So government will have to come up and do something about it. All right, because otherwise the economy will collapse. So government will have to take certain action. Candy, go there. Keep your iPad. Keep the iPad over there. My daughter, sorry. Contraction. Now after peak, then the downfall will start. It means contraction will start. Sir, can't economy reach equilibrium? Dear, equilibrium is a point when demand and supply is the same. Equilibrium will be reached in the economy, but the economy will always not be at equilibrium. Remember the diagram that I've shown you. So if the economy will reach its equilibrium, so you have a situation wherein supply and demand, they will match. But do you think, and if the economy will remain at this point, but do you think it can remain at this point forever? It will remain at this point forever, provided everything factor remains same. International crude prices do not change, government taxation policy do not change, people's lifestyle and living standard do not change, their taste and preferences do not change, there is no invention of new technology, the cost of production do not increase. Now if all these factors remain same, then the market will be forever at equilibrium. Now tell me, is it possible for these factors to all these factors to remain constant? Is it possible? That will be a miracle then. Right? Jesus is born. That is not a possibility. So economy will reach its equilibrium, but very soon equilibrium will be broken, and most of the time or majority of the time you will be seeing that economy is at disequilibrium. Either the demand is more than supply causing inflation, or supply is more than demand, that will be leading to unsold stock. So in the process of supply and demand increasing or decreasing, you will reach an equilibrium point. I have explained this in your business economics, I think chapter 2, what I think, obviously chapter 2, remember? All right. So once peak is reached, increased demand is halted, because how much extra can you pay? Tell me, if the price of everything increases from 70 rupees, petrol price increases to 80 rupees, okay, no problem. 90 rupees, problem. 100 rupees, very big problem. 110 rupees, oh my god. 120 rupees, what the hell? Alright, 130 rupees, go to hell. So it means you will have to decrease your consumption. And if everybody decreases its consumption, don't you think there will be large scale unemployment that will happen? Alright. So during contraction, there will be fall in the levels of investment. Why? Because when people are decreasing their consumption, don't you think businesses will have unsold stock? Will they increase investment when they have unsold stock? No, they will decrease their level of investment. And when they're producing less, don't you think employment will fall? All right. Or you can say sometimes unemployment will increase. Either you say employment will fall or you say unemployment will increase. All right. Producers fail to appreciate the fall in demand and continue to produce. Now the thing is, what happens? Demand slowly starts to come down, but right till now, from last so many you see, from last 1 and 2 years or 3 years, the expansion has been happening. So again, when the contractions start to happen, then the businesses are not able to realize that demand has started to fall, contraction has started. Those businesses which are analyzing the economy on and on a daily basis, they'll be able to basically save themselves, to protect themselves, and they will decrease the production. But most of the businesses, they will overproduce, and that will be the problem. Supply exceeds demand, leading to unsold stock, because demand is falling down. Who will buy? Producers hold back future investment and plans and decrease the level of output. As I've told you, due to this, only the unemployment will increase now. This lead to chain reaction spreading across different sectors, turning into beginning of recession. So contraction hota hai, state of a recession will not happen. Slowly, little by little, little by little, it will fall. And when there is a significant contraction that has taken place in the economy, then it will lead to what is known as a recession. Trough and depression. All right. During depression phase, now remember, during contraction and recession, the business's profit will come down. Some businesses may start incurring losses. The banks now when you're talking about interest remain, money supply will decrease. The banks are willing to give loan, but nobody is willing to take loan. Right? Remember one thing, the interest part confuses the student. Understand one thing. Let's understand. If I have a shop, I'm selling any particular commodity. There is less demand for that commodity. What I'll have to do, I have to give discount. Correct? Once I give discount, the demand starts to rise, and it rises very sharply. When the demand has already increased, will I give discount anymore? Tell me. Now the reason why I've given discount is not to continue it forever. I've given discount to give a push to the demand, and once the demand starts to rise, then I will take away the discount. In fact, if the demand rises further, I will increase the price. The same way happened to the interest on lending. Suppose the economy is going down, nobody wants to take loan from the businesses, because people will think, why will I take loan if I cannot pay back the loan? Everything is becoming expensive for consumption. People are not taking the loan. Household is not taking the loan. The businesses are also not taking the loan. Why? Because if the demand has fallen down, they have to reduce their production, and when they have to reduce their production, it means they don't want to expand their business. You take the loan to expand the business, isn't it? So don't you think the demand for loan will come down? Now the bank will, in order to motivate the people to borrow more from the bank and businesses to borrow more from the bank, what the bank will do? Just like that shopkeeper gap, bank will give you discount. How the bank will give you discount? Bank will lower the rate of interest, right? So when the bank will say, okay, car loan was available at 10%, now I'll give you at 8%. Don't you think some people will take a loan to buy a car? Likewise, for many other things, the bank will decrease the rate of lending. So here the consumer's consumption starts to increase. When the consumption increases, it means demand increases. When the demand is increasing, the businesses will try to meet that demand. So businesses will have to produce more. When the businesses will want to produce more, businesses need more investment. If the businesses need more investment, the business will go to the bank to demand loan. So the bank will give loan to the businesses as well. So demand for loan increases. If the demand for loan increases significantly, do you think the bank will offer you loan at a lower rate of interest now? You tell me. Or don't you think, just like that shopkeeper, the bank will increase the price? That is, increase the interest rate? Tell me. You getting the idea? I'm looking at your comment. All right. So rate of interest will increase with the growth. Initially rate of interest will come. So at this phase, now trough, the growth rate of the economy becomes negative. You see, what is the difference between fall in growth and negative growth? So we know that we will compare the growth in terms of some base year. If suppose in the base year, let's say uh, 2015 and 16 is the base year. If we have generated 100 rupees of GDP, total value of market value of goods and services, if suppose 2017 we, if suppose the total growth, total value of market value of goods and services produced in the economy is 110. So don't you think I can say that compared to the base year, the rate of growth is 10%? That's what the rate of growth, when the government says GDP is growing at what rate? 8%, 10%, means compared to the base year, we have grown by 10%, correct? Now in 2018, if total amount of goods and services, the market value of goods and services generated is 112 rupees. So don't you think now here the growth rate was 10%, isn't it? But here the growth rate is 12% compared to base year, isn't it? So it means this is the expansion that is happening. Growth rate is increasing. Not only growth is increasing, growth rate is also increasing. If suppose in 2019 the total market value of goods and services is 115, it means compared to the base year that was 100, I can say the GDP growth has been 15%, isn't it? Clear? It means growth is happening. If suppose now in 2020 we have grown by 100 and 10 or 111. Now tell me, economy still has grown compared to the base year, isn't it? Growth is what, 11%, right or wrong? Growth is 11%, but compared to the past year, don't you think the rate of growth has fallen down? Bolo. The rate of growth has fallen down, but growth has not fallen down. Alright. Clear? Rate of growth has fallen down, but growth has not fallen down. If suppose in 2021, if the rate of growth is 108, if total market value of goods and services produced is 108, again this is 8% growth compared to the base year. But don't you think in the compared to the past year, the rate of growth has declined? Isn't it? So this thing happens during contraction or contractionary phase. So it means growth is happening but at a slower rate. But during depression, what happens? If suppose in 2022 the rate of growth is the total market value of goods and services produced is 95 rupees. Now compared to the base year, is there a positive growth or negative growth? Is there a positive growth or a negative growth? I can say there is a negative growth of 5%. Now not only growth has fallen down, but rate of growth has also negative. So this is depression. That is the difference between increasing growth, that it means the GDP is increasing at an increasing rate. Decreasing growth, it means GDP still increases but at a diminishing rate, contraction. But in depression, there is a negative growth. So during contraction, if the businesses are incurring losses, during depression, the businesses will shut down. During contraction and recession, if the banks are facing non-performing asset, what is non-performing asset? The people have taken the loan, but the businesses have taken the loan, they are skipping their payment. 1 month, 2 months EMI, they have defaulted. So the bank will have to create a provision for doubtful debt. Now when you take a loan from a bank, the bank will show you on the debtor side in the balance sheet, because you are an asset for the bank, isn't it? Because you will pay the bank back. So you are an asset for the bank. But if your payment credibility, repayment credibility becomes questionable, then the bank will have to create a provision for doubtful debt. Bhaiya ye pay kar sakta hai, nahi bhi pay kar sakta hai. Let's, under conservatism principle, we have to show it. So provision for doubtful debt. If suppose you are bankrupted, you cannot pay, then that the government bank will have to write that off as a bad debt. So that non-performing asset is increasing during contraction and recession. But during, so banks are also at a loss. There will be some problem of liquidity problem will happen with the bank. But during depression, the bank will have to write off all the bad debt. Provision को write off कर देने का. It means it will decrease the value of the asset. The bank will not have liquidity problem, but the bank will have liquidity crisis. There is a difference between a problem and a crisis. Alright? You getting the idea? So, in this phrase, the growth rate of the economy becomes negative. There is a rapid decline in national income and expenditure. Demand for products and services decrease significantly. Alright? Prices fall. It means you see, when there is no demand, demand curve is shifted towards the left extremely. Don't you think the price will fall down? Alright? So, there will be decline in rate of inflation or price level, decline rapidly, forcing firms to shut down several production facilities. There will also be bankruptcy. Many businesses will file for bankruptcy. Increase in unemployment. Now remember, at the trough, unemployment not only increases, it reaches its highest point. Just like at peak, employment is at the highest level. At the trough, unemployment is at the highest level. Leaves the consumer with very little disposable income. We've got a little taste of this during the COVID season, COVID pandemic, not season, oh my god. Inter season बोल दिया फिर से आ जाएगा. Season repeats itself. Alright. So, बोला सर क्या बोल दिया ये तो मतलब. Interest rate falls. Why? Because people are not willing to take loan. Don't you think banks will be willing to give loan at a lower rate of interest, but still people will not take loan? So the bank will have to decrease the rate of interest. People will hold more liquid money in their hand. Alright, more liquid money because they're not sure what is going to happen tomorrow. Bank shutdown will happen. Availability of credit also falls due to possible of banking or financial crisis. That happens in 2000, happened in 2008 due to subprime crisis. That happened in 1929-30 due to the Great Depression, and it happened also in 2000, the year 2000 due to IT bubble bust. Now after what comes down, there will be recovery. Now recovery can be initiated by the government through a bailout package, by the banks through monetary policy and so on. It means the government will try to push the economy while creating a demand. So government will give bailout package to the banks to give loan to the people. People will have more money in their hand. They will create demand. Once the demand is created, slowly the producers will meet the demand. Slowly at one level the employment will increase. Then again it will create income for those people who are employed. They will create further demand, and slowly the wheels of the economy will again start to go up, and again re-expansion or recovery will happen in the economy. So same thing will happen. Alright, recovery, same thing. Recovery will have same all the same points as expansion. Once the economy touches the lowest level, it happens to be the end of the negativism and the beginning of the positivism. Remember, at the lowest point of the despair, there is a rise of hope. So never, there is a shining light that will guide you through the tunnel. Alright, hota hai na? Kitna, you must have heard many people saying that when bad thing happens, it happens in it doesn't, bad things or bad luck doesn't come alone. It happens all around. But bad ये हो गया, नौकरी चला गया, problem है, घर में sick हो गया, गिर गया. So many things happen at the same time. But there is always a glimmer of hope, because if so many bad things have happened, there is also many a times a situation so many good things will happen at the same time. Alright. So recovery leads to reversal of the process of business cycle. Alright. Organization discontinue laying off. Laying off means to retrench or to kick out the employees. So individuals, and start hiring but in limited numbers, slowly. Consumers increase their rate of consumption, leading to increase in demand. To fulfill the demand, more goods and services are produced. So more goods and services, it means more employment will be generated. Investment will slowly start to increase. Producers start to invest again and build stocks. The banking system starts to expand credit, means the bank will also start to give credit and the demand for loans will also increase. Now examples of business cycle I've done in detail in the class, so let's not go into it again. Features of business cycle. A lot of questions are asked with regard to features of business cycle. What are these features of business cycle? Business cycle occur periodically, though they do not show same regularity. So periodically it happens, but it doesn't show same regularity. They have some distinct phases such as expansion peak, they and contraction and depression and trough. Depression and trough are the same. Alright, गलत लिखा है. Expansion peak, contraction and depression or trough. Alright. Business cycle generally originate in a free market economy. Abhi, you see, do you think in North Korea business cycle will ever happen? Alright. In North Korea, business government is controlling everything. What business cycle? You can go on demanding, production will not happen. So this is a phenomena that works wonderfully well in a free market economy, or at least in a mixed economy, wherein that part of the mixed economy which is not controlled or regulated by the government. Business cycle are synchronic. Synchronic, it means it affects every sector of the economy. Each and every sector of the economy is affected, not only one sector. So it will just like good thing happening all around, bad thing happening all around. Business cycle do not have uniform characteristics and causes. The characteristics and causes are not uniform. It may happen. Sometimes the business cycle contraction can happen due to global economic problem. Many times you see, no, India में recession हो गया. What is the reason? Everything was good, going good. You see, in 2008, everything was going good, but still suddenly there was a kind of a short recessionary trend or spurt, you can say, that happened in 2008. Were we responsible for this crisis? No, they were the responsible. Those buggers were the responsible, who were the giving loan to the people and without checking the credit worthiness, and it was a mafia that is operating between the bank and the real estate, leading to the collapse of the Indian banking, American banking system. So sometimes it can happen due to that. Sometimes it can happen due to many other reasons. You see, India can go into recession even when the monsoon fails severely. Severe drought, earthquake. Now, can these things be predicted? No, it cannot be predicted. Some things you can look at the past and you can figure out this is going to happen because this has been repeating. There is a trend in it. But many on and off, sometimes the trend is broken. You see, sometimes you see it every in a 5-year period there is earthquake. Sometime in a 10-year period there is a forest fire. Sometime in a 20-year period there is a flood. Now, can there be a pattern of earthquakes and forest fire and flood? बोला कि हाँ 10 साल में एक बार flood आएगा, 10 साल में एक बार fire होगा, 10 साल में एक बार terrorist activity होगा. Is it possible? No, it's not possible. But yes, many of the things that happen organically can be, we can find out there is a trend that repeats itself. Fluctuations occur not only in the level of production but simultaneously in other variables such as employment, investment, consumption, rate of interest and price level. Everything is affected, not one thing. Everything is interrelated. Alright. Investment and consumption of durable and consumer goods such as cars, houses, refrigerators are affected most by the cyclical fluctuations. Durable goods. If suppose the economy is going down, I can postpone buying luxury goods, cars and other things. But I cannot postpone services of a doctor. I cannot postpone necessary goods that I have to consume. I cannot postpone the food item that I have to buy, the cloth that I have to buy. Alright. Consumption of non-durable goods such as services do not vary much during the phase of the business cycle. Do not vary much. It will vary but not much. So if they ask you a question, do you think the demand for every good, everything will be affected in the same way during the change in the business cycle, during different phases of the business cycle? No, the answer is no. Demand for different things will be affected differently due to the changes in the business cycle. Alright. Clear? Let's continue now further. Causes of business cycle. What are the causes of business cycle? Any comment? Sorry. Causes of business cycle. Right. Business cycle occur due to number of factors. Am I audible to you guys? Clearly visible? All right. So business causes of business cycle. What are there are number of business cycle occur due to number of factors and causes. These causes are classified into what? Internal causes or endogenous causes, and external causes or exogenous causes. Now what are internal causes? These are, you see, fluctuation in demand. Now fluctuation in demand, that now internal causes, basically it will affect only that particular economy where it is happening, and many a times it is within the control of the authorities to manage these endogenous causes. All right. Fluctuation in effective demand. Demand is the motivating force in the economy, and if the demand is going up and down, it means there is a rightward and leftward shift in the demand curve, then obviously the supply will be affected. When the supply is going to get affected, it means production will be affected, it will affect employment, it will affect income of the people, it will affect taxes of the government, it will affect investment in the economy. So it will be a chain that will form over a period of time. Are you seeing comment on my phone? No dear, I'm seeing basically what I've done. I have opened up the YouTube. I can see myself, you see. All right. So that will give me whether I'm getting stuck or not. I'll be able to find out easily. Not on the phone. All right. So fluctuation in investment can also be affected. Now if the investment changes in India, it's not going to affect any other economy. Now globally, if you are a globalized country like America, then investment in your country is going to affect other countries as well. But we are not talking about that. I'm talking about what will affect, what will remain confined to the internals of the economy. Variation in government spending. Government can spend more money or less money. Remember, government spending से भी questions आता है. When government spending, G को बोले government spending increases, it means government is indulging in more expenditure. Now tell me how the government or where the government spends expenditure. If government is spending, who is earning the money? You tell me. Who is earning the money? First of all, you have to ask, before you ask who is earning the money, you have to know that what kind of expenditure the government incurs. You see, you must know that every kind of expenditure that is incurred by the government, that money eventually goes into the hand of the people. Let's say government wants to construct a new airport, a new public park, a new railway station, expansion of railways, infrastructure, basically highways, power plants. Now when government wants to construct these, government will have to enter into a public private participation, or government will have to directly construct these by employing labor. So those labor who are, whether from the chief engineer to the lowest level, highest level to the lowest level, they are going to receive remuneration from the government. They are common people belonging to the household. Government will purchase raw materials from private businesses, right or wrong? So their profitability will increase. So when the government is spending to build infrastructure, who is earning? The common man is earning by providing goods and services to the government. Second, government gives subsidies to the people. Current expenditure hai chalo. Now who is going to receive the subsidy? The subsidies are received to buy the food, to buy the cylinders, to buy, for scholarship allowances, unemployment allowances, various programs we have in India. So it means again the money goes to the public. Government, another kind of current expenditure, government gives more salary to the government employees. Again, the money goes into the public hand. Alright. So, if we say that government, if it invests more money for public sector undertaking, ONGC ka expansion, Baba, ONGC ka expansion kiya, how the government will do expansion? It means there will be resources that will be utilized, and we know that every resources belongs to the household. So it means wherever the government is spending the money, however the government is spending the money, whatever is the nature of the expenditure of the government, capital or revenue, ultimately the money is flowing to the household. Bolo, आया नहीं आया समझ में? Ultimately the money is flowing to the household. Explain me. I mean, tell me, correct hai? So when government is spending the money, then don't you think income of the household will increase? When income of the household will increase, don't you think this will lead to increase in demand for goods? And increase in demand will lead to increase in production and supply. That will generate more employment. Employment will increase. So it means increase in government expenditure will overall lead to expansionary pressure upon the economy. The economy will expand if the government is spending the money. Alright. And if government is decreasing the expenditure, it means the earning of the household will decrease and it will be a cause of contraction in the economy. You getting it? Where is the water? Okay. Alright. Macroeconomic policy, it could be inflation related policy, taxation related policy, it could be foreign policy related to exports and imports and investment. These fact policies can also affect. Now these policies are within the control of the government. So endogenous money supply, increase or decrease in money supply in India is within the control of the Reserve Bank of India. As a part of monetary policy, RBI does that. And psychological factors also. What are psychological factors? Psychological factors that people, what they believe. If people have the faith in the economy that economy will grow, then they will be motivated. They will be motivated to produce more and more. Alright, to consume more and more. When they are consuming more and more, it means all optimism there in the economy. But if there is less of optimism, people are critical, people don't believe that there is pessimism in the economy, investment will not come up. So that will psychological factor can also lead to a damaging consequences to the economy. Alright. External causes, something that cannot be controlled. War cannot be controlled. After the war will lead to destruction of property, life. It will never lead to expansion. It will always lead to contraction and depression. But after the war has happened, post-war reconstruction will happen. It means all the assets which have been destroyed, they will have to be reconstructed. It means it will lead to recovery of the economy. Technology shock. If there is an advancement in technology, big businesses will be able to adapt, but small businesses will shut down. So the aggregate net effect on the economy may be positive or may be negative, depending on whether your economy is a developed, developing or underdeveloped. Advancement of technology will always be a problem for underdeveloped, least developed economies. But the developing and developed economy will be able to fare better. Natural factors, natural factors, natural calamities, earthquake, flood, fire, you cannot control. It will have damaging effect. Even I'm not talking about extreme, think about monsoon. You see in India, bad monsoon will lead to decrease in the expansion, or it will lead to increase or initiation of the contraction phase in the economy. Good monsoon, it will create an euphoria. If the economy is in depression and if there is a good monsoon, then the recovery will start. If the economy is at peak and or if the economy is growing and bad monsoon, because we in India we depend on agriculture, 50% of the people directly depend on agriculture and 70% both directly and indirectly. Right. So when in a sector wherein 70% of the people are employed directly and indirectly, if that sector doesn't do well, don't you think the entire economy will suffer? So if there is an expansion going on and bad monsoon happens, then yield will come down, there will be negativity in the economy, the supply will go down, and so that will be the beginning of the contractionary phase. Alright, and population growth. Population can be a boon or could be a bane. Could be a boon, not baboon, boon or bane. Why? Because when population is increasing, demand is going to happen. But the thing is, the people who are born today, they will create demand, but eventually they will also provide labor to the businesses. So the businesses, it means the future of the country will be better if there is an increasing trend in population. If the population decreases significantly, then there will be a problem, because without manpower, without labor, no economy can grow. You have to import labor from some other countries. You see, Western developed countries have been able to decrease their population growth so effectively, not that it has become a crisis. Alright, in Britain 70% of the people are pension earners, and you see the migrant population is significantly increasing in Britain. You will find many of the people from India, Nepal, Bangladesh, Pakistan, alright, Sri Lanka are increasing significantly. Very soon, I mean in a period of 30, 40, 50 years, you will find that the British white people will be minority, and majority of the people in those countries are migrants, and Indians will be a significant proportion of those. Abhi bolega na India ko, you Britishers came here and ruled over us for 200 years. Now we are giving it back to you. We will go there and we will multiply as much as possible. We will change the, you change the economy of our country in 200 years, will change the demography of your country for several thousand years. What you can do? Alright. Alright. You came here and you remained white, we'll go there and we will change the white into brown. So could be a boon or could be bane. Too much of population is also a problem, because population significantly, if it increases, it will put a strain on the resources. The demand will significantly increase, but those demands cannot be met. It will lead to hyperinflationary situation. Right? Now, indicators. Indicators are very, very important. Now, there are indicators. One question from indicators they will always ask you. Now, what are indicators? Indicators will show you the signals or the signs. Signals or the signs about where the economy is going, or where the economy will go, or where the economy has already gone. Right? Depending upon what indicator you're talking about. So here we have one lagging indicator. Now, lagging indicator, it will show those variables about the change in economy after the change has already taken place. It means after the economic changes have already taken place, after the change has happened, those signals or signs or variables will be visible to the people. Then we say, what's the use then? Yes, it is of not much use, but you cannot say it is useless. It will help us to determine the pattern basically. Right? There is coincident indicator. Coincident indicator are those indicators which are visible at the same time when the economic changes are happening. For example, unemployment rate, inflation rate, and so on and so forth. So these things will be visible to the at the same time when the economic changes are taking place. All right. What has happened? Am I audible now? Visible to you guys? I'm back. Technical problem will not beat me. Feeling like a hero, I solved it all by myself. All right. So we were discussing coincident indicator. It will be visible when the change is happening. But the leading indicator are very, very important indicator. All right. Leading indicator are very, very important indicator, because leading indicator tells us about the change before the change actually takes place. So businesses and the government or the household can be prepared to adapt to the changes. For example, if a lot of capital expenditure is coming up, it means the process of more metro rails, more foreign investment, more plants to produce more cars, foreign investment is increasing. Don't you think I can say that in the next 4 or 5 years the economic growth is going to happen by looking at the investment current capital expenditure happening? Because the current capital expenditure, the benefit will be derived in future, not currently, right? Most of the benefit. So it means the businesses will be able to figure out that yes, the investment, that's what you see in India. People say negative things about a growth ho raha hai, ye ho raha. Remember, India has a lot of growth and lot of power left into it. We have not utilized even 20% of our growth potential. 20%, 1/5 we have not utilized. There is a hell lot of scope for Indian economy to grow, and that's why the foreign multinational companies, whether it's a SoftBank, whether it's other investments, FIIs, they are coming into India on and on. You see, during the pandemic, when the economy was falling apart, the stock market was rising. Why? Stock market was rising. Companies were reducing their it fell down significantly, then it started to rise. In a matter of 2.5 months, all the negativity in the stock market was over, but pandemic was still going on and the stock market bounced back. Now what does it tell me? That businesses like Hindustan Unilever, Tata Motors, Bajaj Finance are never going to, are not, I should not say never, but is not going to shut down. So all these foreign investors, they found out that these are solid companies which are grounded in solid foundation, very solid foundation. Now the share price of these companies are available at a discount. Let's buy more and more. So more and more FIIs inflows was happening. More and more domestic investors were buying the equity share of these companies. So at one point in time, you see people were dying. There were lack of oxygen in the hospitals. There was a mayhem. You have seen this. You are you can say a witness to this situation. So here the death rate was rising, and here the stock market was also rising. Sir बोलेगा sir ये क्या हो रहा है? How the hell it is possible? No, everything has a reason. You see, the short term crisis doesn't mean the long term. In the long term, the economy will always be in crisis. It means now when the economy will start to recover, these companies shares are available at a very low price, at a highly discounted price, at 50%, 80%, 90% discount. Buy and buy. So because the potential of this company is going to be huge, and all these companies are going to generate huge amount of profit in future. Do you think FIIs are fools to pump in money into the Indian economy when there is a crisis going on? No. So this gives us a leading indicator. This is a leading indicator that tells us that maybe in the short run there is a problem, but the short run is not going to last for long. In the long run, there will always be a higher trajectory. It will be, the growth will happen. If suppose this is the long run trend, this is a long run trend, and if suppose growth is happening, now the COVID comes. Now COVID is simply a small portion of the time period it will take. So during this time the economy will go down, but the thing is, that when it recovers, it will grow again and again. You see, you bet my word, Nifty will reach 1 lakh points in a matter of 10 years time. Alright, 1 lakh points chala jayega. Right? So these are leading indicators. So lagging indicators reflect the economy's historical performance, and changes in these indicators are observable only after economic trend or pattern has already occurred. Whereas a leading indicator is a measurable economic factor that changes before the economy starts to follow a particular pattern or trend. In other words, those variables that change before the real output changes are called leading indicator. Leading indicators are often change prior to the large economic adjustments. So these are leading indicator. Sir, BCK quick revision notes. Everything, quick revision note that I'll be sharing with you guys, that will be for uh, business economics and business and commercial knowledge both. Alright. So that's an end of the business cycle chapter. Alright. End of the business cycle chapter. Let's quickly move into, see, I'll just give you an idea about the quick revision note. This is your quick revision note that I'll be sharing with you. It's not complete still, but I'll be finishing it off in some time. And so from the beginning I'm showing you. So this is, you see, nature and scope of business. Everything is synopsis is given here. Everything in synopsis. You can see it. So everything is given in synopsis. It will help you solve everything. What is the price effect, expansion, what happens, contraction, what happens, price elasticity. So what you've written notes after notes can be covered here very quickly. Elasticity of demand, everything is given here. All right. When I complete it, I'll be sharing it with you. So indifference curve that we studied, ISO utility of convex to the origin, marginal rate of substitution is decreasing, because these quick revision notes I have made it looking at the questions of many years that's been asked, whether it's in CPT or in the business, in the foundation. Indifference curve analysis, you see, ISO utility curve. You see, if suppose if for example you are going to study about indifference analysis given by Hickson, and everything is ordinal concept. देखो यहाँ लिखा हुआ है, ordinal concept is here. Ordinal concept है. Alright, utility cannot be utility cannot be measured in numerical terms, can be ranked and compared. Consumer preference पे based है. ISO utilities, it is a superior, it is better than the uh, law of diminishing marginal utility, which is based on cardinal concept. So indifference curve what gives same level of satisfaction. It is convex to the origin. I've also given everything in bold. Dear, I can talk about myself. Alright. I love you all, so I'll work hard for you. But if you love me, you have to work hard as well. Alright. So marginal rate of substitution is decreasing. MRS, what is it? MRS I have defined rate of at which consumer is ready to give up one good in exchange for another good. Alright. Downward sloping negatively slope indifference curve. If marginal rate of MRS is constant, indifference curve will be a straight line. Alright. What happens when this happens when two goods are perfect substitutes? So every question you can solve from here. Perfect complementary goods, two straight lines hota hai, L shaped hota hai. These are all covered. Important properties of indifference curve. Then you will be thinking, sir, itna notes kyun likhaya mere ko? To help you understanding, suppose tell me if I would not have explained you through the notes, will you be able to understand any of these points? I have not completed this, dear. Let me complete it, finish it off. No, इतना वेट किया, थोड़ा वेट कर लेने का. Alright. Important properties: slopes downward to the right, negatively sloped. Two indifference curve will never intersect each other. Indifference curve is always convex to the origin. Why? Due to falling MRS. Higher indifference curve will represent higher level of satisfaction, vice versa. Indifference curve will never touch either x-axis or y-axis. Indifference map depicts the complete picture of consumer satisfaction. अब budget line का भी दे दिया मैं. It depicts combination of two goods that consumer can buy with the given money income. Point outside shows overspending, point inside shows underspending. Alright. Any point where, what is this here? Okay. So any point anywhere on the budget line, we show same amount of money spent. Budget line is a result of price of x, price of y, income of the consumer. Consumer equilibrium भी दे दिया. When he or she deriving maximum possible satisfaction, it happens when price line budget line is tangent to highest possible indifference curve. That is the slope of indifference curve equals to slope of the price line budget line. It means, can you imagine, I have covered indifference curve just like in 2-3 minutes for you. Alright. Alright. So I have worked hard for it, so please do not just waste it. Read it again and again. You read it. It means if I have taken 25 days for you from you to complete entire business economics, business commercial knowledge, you can complete business economics and BCK from these quick revision notes in a matter of 2 hours maximum. 2 घंटे में आप खत्म कर सकता है इससे. But for that you have to at least you would have attended my class. देखो प्रोडक्शन का भी दे दिया है. जस्ट आई एम शोइंग यू दिस हियर. Production can define its creation because we have only 5 minutes left. After the break, we'll start the BCK. Addition of utility. Man cannot create matter, but can only add or create utility. देखो यहाँ से भी many times question are asked. So whatever the pattern of the question has been asked over and over again, I've included those most important points here. Characteristic of land, all it's given. Free gift of nature, immobile, usefulness depends on human labor, effort. It's limited in supply, perfectly inelastic. Supply curve will be a vertical straight line. क्या supply curve होगा वो भी दे दिया मैं. Indestructible power है, meaning it cannot be destroyed or neither it can be created. Labor का character directly connected with human effort. Highly perishable, meaning one cannot store his or her labor. Is mobile, can migrate from one place to another. Entrepreneur, production function का भी, you see everything that we have discussed. Production function, relationship between physical input and physical output, capital में दे दिया देखो. So bold one will you cannot, it will catch your eyes what I have given in bold. Sir, you have given names of economists, sir? Not required, dear. Whatever is required, I'll give it to you. Don't worry. Short period of time, in short period production function, at least one factor remain fixed. Long run production function, all factors vary in the same proportion. Time concept was conceived by Alfred Marshall, I've given here. Cobb Douglas production function, all the point that you need to remember he has given along with the equation given here. Average product, now formula is also given here. You see total product by units of variable input, marginal product change in total product change in input. Total product is total product is nothing but the total output. Or diagram of law of variable proportion. Diagram is not given, but everything related to the diagram I have given here. You see inflection point, TP curve when MP is maximum is a point on TP curve where MP is maximum. Point of saturation is a point on TP where TP is maximum and starts falling from that point. MP curve cuts AP from above where AP is maximum. At this point AP is equals to MP. All synopsis, if you know the diagram, you can understand easily. You can open book exam ho gaya, will take this and score 100. No dear. You see, honesty is the most important thing. If open book हुआ तो आप ले जाएगा, but synopsis थोड़ी आपको ले जाने देगा, book ले जाने देगा. They will define which book you have to take it. But the thing is, right now you don't have an open book examination. All right. AP is falling now. See, MP is rising initially and then it falls. So when it's at this point MP is more than AP. All right. Clear. So it means AP is rising, MP is rising, and initially, and then it is falling. When AP is falling, MP is also falling, and when AP and MP both are falling, you see AP is more than MP. TP is rising, MP and AP rises initially, but they start to fall. When TP is maximum, MP is 0. When TP starts to fall, MP becomes negative. ये भी लिख दिया, firm should produce within stage 2 as it optimally utilizing its fixed factors during this stage. Long run production function returns to scale, यहाँ पे दे दिया मैं. Internal economics, external economics दे दिया. Isocont I have given here. Concept related to average revenue, marginal revenue, everything is given. ये देखो ये कल में किया था ना. When E is more than 1, MR is positive, TR is rising. E equals to 1, MR is 0, TR is maximum. E less than 1, MR is negative, TR is falling. यहाँ formula भी दे दिया मैं. Yeah. AR curve also known as the demand curve. So theory of cost, explicit, implicit cost, everything is defined. Total variable cost, total fixed cost, what is the curve? You see, average total cost by output, AFC plus AVC you can also do. What is the shape of every curve is also given. Relationship between MC and AC curve is also given. When average curve falls, AC is more than MC. Alright. When average curve rises, MC is more than AC. AC curve and MC curve equal where AC is minimum. MC curve cuts the AC curve from below from its minimum point. Dear, I don't have time. Tell me, foundation और intermediate पढ़ाने के बाद I am occupied around 280 290 days. Don't you think I am a human being? I need time for my daughter and for my wife. My wife will divorce me and daughter will not talk to me if I only teach and do nothing about it. There are economic laws in the finals. I thought about it, but I don't have any time, dear. That's the problem. Okay, so let's wind it up here. That was all food for thought. आपको दिखा दिया ट्रेलर कैसा होगा. Quick revision note. Little bit here and there changes है. मैं कर लेगा अभी, and I'll share it to you, by next week. All right, happy? Oligopoly सब कुछ मैं किया इसमें. थोड़ा changes required है, मैं कर लेगा, आपको दे देगा. All right, so let's take a break here. After the break, we'll come and we'll look at business and commercial knowledge. Quick revision will do for that. All right, go have your refreshment. We'll meet soon. See you.